Today we're going to be taking a look at some things that are oddly specific from the subreddit r/oddlyspecific. It only takes 3 generations for you to be basically forgotten. Tell that's my great-great-uncle who is the reason that it's illegal to drive a tractor while drunk in the state of Kansas. Surely that just counts as drink driving. Happily married to my 5'5" king for 8 years while you're getting ghosted by 6'2" alcoholics with 7th grade reading levels, but go off about how you only date tall men, I guess. That's a dub. That's a dub for the short kings, although he is far shorter than me. Far shorter. A whole inch and a half shorter. I love when customers say compliments to the chef. LMAO, like, sir, we don't have a chef. That's Tyler back there. He's 19, stoned out of his mind and been cooking for 3 weeks, but I'll tell him. Saying, like, compliments to the chef is like saying, oh yeah, say hi from me. Like when you see someone, like, you just know they're not going to do it. It has come to my attention that some of you don't know my English teacher in high school was my own father. On the first day of classes, he said, I want you all to know I'm only sleeping with one of your mothers. Everyone's autistic now. Okay, my single 63-year-old neighbour with 1.2 million of model trains in his basement who wrote a 90-page letter to the city about the brightness of the streetlights when I was growing up is just a regular guy then. 1.2 million? Where'd you get that kind of money for model trains from? People from Wyoming are in my mentions insulting me for dissing their state yesterday, and I'm just imagining them furiously riding a horse to a McDonald's in Utah just so they could get Wi-Fi and tweet at me. I've never known anyone who's from Wyoming, ever. I've never even heard of anyone who's from Wyoming, ever. Community college was so crazy. I was 16 years old, and my partner for public speaking class was a 38-year-old ex-felon, and we were straight up besties. Right. I'm begging you all to remember that you're naming people, not just babies. A 17-year-old will have that name. A 28-year-old will have that name. A 43-year-old will have that name. A 77-year-old grandparent will have that name. Maybe we should rethink choosing Mackenzie Grayson. I fully agree. You're not naming like a cat or something. You're naming a human. Yes, I'm shaming. Good. Wanting a less common name is cool, but naming your child KitchenAid Whiskey Jones is borderline abuse. My coworker said Billie Eilish makes music for girls who call themselves psycho but are too afraid to ask for extra ketchup in a restaurant. That's accurate. Being an adult means not having your bed pushed up against a corner. That is literally the only criteria. Honestly, now that I think about it, in my whole adult life, I haven't had a bed pushed up against a corner. It's only been when I was 18 and under. Sex is cool, but have you ever made a joke at a dinner party that bombed and you felt bad, but then the host of the party pulled you aside later and said it wasn't your fault the joke bombed. It's just that Kate's brother died in a skiing accident, so skiing jokes are off bounds. Yes, that has happened to me. Gonna be honest, this new widget design looks like an app for a membership-only human trafficking gentleman's club headquartered in Budapest. Right, okay. Italian police uniforms look like gay Nazis. It's not wrong. It's really not wrong. Gay Nazis. It does. The hat's too small for their heads. Why is everything so tight-fitting as well? Happy 3-year anniversary to working in a coffee shop at 6 a.m. and my first customer was this lady in a fox costume on her way to surprise chase her daughter who was afraid of mascots down the streets of Chicago. What? Surely that's just gonna... What, are you trying to scare her out of being afraid of mascots? Because if anything, that's just gonna make her even more scared of mascots because you're chasing her as one down the streets of Chicago. Honestly, who the fuck actually likes sparkling water? That shit tastes like TV static. That's not oddly specific. That's accurate. However, flavored sparkling water. Mwah. Oh, it's gorgeous. I don't really like drinking soda or however you call it. I know people have different fizzy drinks and that. I don't really like drinking like Coke, Sprite, that all that much. But give me a bottle or a can of some sparkling flavored water. Gorgeous stuff. American badges look like they're about to drag you into a back alley and put a shiv on you to demand money for their meth habit. European badges look like they're about to invite you over for a cup of tea and some custard creams at their little cottage in the countryside. I did not know American badgers look like that. Why do they look like that? Our badgers are so much cuter. Look at him. Look at that little guy. Some of you were never the third friend that had to walk behind when the sidewalk is too narrow, and it shows. I'm ashamed to admit I still do this sometimes. I'm still sometimes the third friend that has to walk behind. It's demoralizing. It is. This time of year, I grab weeds while walking my dog and weave them into little wreaths that I leave around the neighborhood, specifically because there is a woman next door who is furious because she thinks they are signs of witchcraft. I encourage you to do the same. I mean, to be fair, it does look like a fucking Blair Witch Project or something. When people say they were weird as a child, but I used to ask my mum for a raw russet potato so I could go outside and gnaw on it sadly in the rain and pretend I was living through the Irish potato famine. What? A raw potato? That's vile. How do you even eat a raw potato? It's hard. The more random people you see jogging for no reason, the higher the rent is going. That is actually a very good indicator of gentrification or whatever, how many people are just jogging for no reason. One of my greatest joys in life is when Jeff calls the vet to make an appointment and they ask for his name and he says Jeff. Then they ask for our cat's name and I watch him gather his strength before he tells them Baby Jeff. Baby Jeff. That's so good. Calling a cat after you, but just putting baby in front of it. That's unreal. How come when a house is haunted, it's always a ghost from the 1700s? Imagine a ghost from 2007 screaming, "It's Britney, bitch." Yeah, that's true. Why are they all from the oldie worldy times? Why can't there be someone who died 3 years ago in the haunted houses? I would give anything to be a golden retriever belonging to an upper middle class white family with one of those bandanas around my neck named Max or some shit. To be fair, that does seem like the best life on earth. You just have a massive garden. You got your bandanas. I love a bandana. And you just run around and have fun that'd be a great life. I can't stand honors college kids. I just asked this girl, hey, why aren't koalas considered bears? And she hits me with they're marsupial. Shut up, nerd. The answer to the joke is they don't have qualifications. People with good singing voices should not be allowed to do karaoke. Sorry, but it is not fun watching you do a little Star Search performance. I'm here to see drunk Keith fight for his life through living on a prayer as God intended. Also, it gives the same vibes as people when you're at a funeral or a wedding or something and there's people behind you singing, but they're fucking going for it. As if it's an X Factor audition or something. It's shut up, please. Stop harmonizing everything. It does my head in. You're just trying to show off. Every time I say my cat's name, she looks at me like I just told her husband died at sea. Some cats just has such a sad look in their faces for no reason. Why can't I play in the abandoned copper mine, mummy? Because Joe Hart didn't clear out the vampire dens. Fun fact, Arizona is the only place in the country where the state mine inspector is an elected position. Another fun fact, this is one of my favorite political ads of all time, straight out of 24. That's real. Mummy, why can't I play in the abandoned copper mine? I don't think a child has ever uttered those words. Oh, I forgot vampire bats were a thing. I thought they were referring to the folklore kind of vampire. Yeah, I was really confused because I thought this was fake because vampire or whatever, but no, I believe now this is real. My new roommate's best friend literally says we'll just go out for one drink on a weeknight, goes to a club, has one drink while everyone else is getting to it, and then tells everyone when it's time to go home so they can actually make it to class in the morning, and I'm genuinely terrified by the amount of self-control she has. Saying you'll just have one drink at the club, to be fair, having one drink at a nightclub is that's insane behavior. People that don't drink that go to nightclubs, man, you must have the confidence of I don't even know what. I can go to pub and not drink because that's fine, that's speaking. However, in a club you're just stood around. The whole point is to be drunk, I think. On a school night and then following through and getting up for class the next day demonstrates the exact level of resolve it took to amputate your own arm on an 18th century battlefield. Guys really live in apartments like this and don't see any issue. Sorry, we understand this economy and don't waste our money on dumb shit like free wooden arrows saying live, laugh, love. To be fair, that is the ideal male setup, innit? Just a chair and a TV. What more do you really need? Maybe a little table to put your drink on or something. Other than that, you don't really need much. Everything else is a bonus. I bet if they made Ratatouille 2, it would have been like Ratatouille International and they would have entered a cookery contest and met chefs from around the world. But they all had different rats in their hats, like a sushi rat and a Guy Fieri rat and a German rat called Ratburst. Rappers. That's actually good. I mean, it would be a bit Cars 2, wouldn't it? It probably would be a bit Cars 2, but it'd be fun. Yeah, sex is cool, but what about when you're cutting wrapper paper and it goes zzz instead of zzz? Yeah, that's sick, that. You feel like a god amongst men when you get the slidey. Michael B. Jordan's cute, but he doesn't have any edge. He just look, I don't know, responsible. He looked like, where his birth certificate at. If I ever need my birth certificate, I just ask my mum, does anyone know where their actual birth certificate is? The main thing that puts me off of playing chess is there is 2,000 years of gameplay that hundreds of people with higher IQs than me have spent thousands of hours studying the history of. So much so that when I put the pawn forward, they say, I see you're going for the Bulgarian somersault. And then I try to take their bishop with my knight and they go, rookie mistake. You've played the Frenchman's Cumsock in approximately 37 moves, I'll have one. Yeah, people that are good at chess are just annoying. They're just dickheads. Why can't you just be bad? When I play chess, I have no strategy. I just fucking go for it. I don't think 5 moves ahead. I think to the move I'm about to do. Imagine going for a bad breakup in 1823 and then Beethoven drops Moonlight Sonata. I spent a while, a couple weeks ago, just listening to a load of classical music for like background music for my videos. And oh my god, some of it goes so hard. Like, it's such an underrated genre of music. How would you discreetly get rid of a life-size realistic sex doll without coming across as a murderer who is dumping a body? Well, I mean, if I didn't want to come across as a psychotic murderer, I probably wouldn't buy a realistic life-size sex doll to begin with. My girlfriend reaction to me thanking her for is this on Discord? Do you message your girlfriend on... Hang on, I'm just gonna double... That's fucking Discord. You communicate with your girlfriend via Discord. I don't know, that's just weird, isn't it? That's just weird to me. Thanks for this meal, wonderful goddess. Can you please not text me like a middle-aged man with his full name plus picture on a dating app texting 18 to 23 women? I can't... I'm ignoring the text message. I'm just thinking, like, you text your significant other over Discord. Okay, can we just agree the worst feeling is when you're just sitting around consciously procrastinating and you're just overly aware that each second that passes is more time wasted, and you like watch hours pass and you're still procrastinating and you can't stop, and your panic brain is trapped inside a body that refuses to be productive, and inside you're screaming but outwardly you're just eating chips. Me every single day. Kind of miss social media in 2012 where the concept of an influencer didn't exist and everyone was using Instagram's pre-made filters and posting pictures of random shit like a handful of Skittles or an overexposed sunset. Those were the days. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. I missed that. Me eating a taco in Cleveland. It's an inside joke. I really wish I was in on this joke. I bet if you get this joke, it's hilarious. Learned today that my ex-husband buys his weed from a lesbian dominatrix that banned him from DJing at a sex club because he kept playing his version of Lean On Me, made it entirely of samples of Homer saying dough. Oh my god, is this one of those accounts that's like, oh, let's go back to those traditional times. Why don't they make statues like they used to? Boys want arm candy. Men want someone who isn't on birth control, is loving, graceful, who wants to buy a farm, start homesteading, homeschool the kids, who's obsessed with cows and is dying to make fresh breast milk ice cream. What? Why don't we go back to the good old days where instead of your wife going to work, she stay at home and make breast milk ice cream? Thinking about the homeless man in Austin who I used to pay $15 to watch my car while I went out, and one night I came back and all the cars around mine were broken into except mine, and he was sitting on my hood and said, I ain't let him touch this one, Miss Kenzie. Oh, he's a real one. What a legend. Like and subscribe or I'll break into your car.